Hello my friends, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. This is Jennifer. Have quite a few new subscribers and I want to welcome you guys, and if you haven't already figured it out yet, Talk to Me Tuesday is a weekly show and tell, and it's not just me doing my weekly show and tell. I do my weekly show and tell, and then other wonderful crafty types over on talktometuesday.wordpress.com also share their weekly Talk to Me Tuesday. So if you don't get enough seeing show and tell and you want to know when I throw out a first name here and there, those are usually Talk to Me Tuesdays, and you can go watch their videos too. Last week I told you guys that my son and I were going to have to redo the pom-poms on his Waka costume because they were so heavy that when he put it on they were just dragging down the front of the costume. So we did do that. I taught him how to make some old school paper flowers. So he did the math and they came out exactly the size he wanted. So he made them and I pinned them on. And so this is what they look like. You can hear the little paper here. So these are just old school tissue paper flowers. I gave him the rest of this paper because I bought a whole package just this color so that if he needs to replace them, he can do it easy peasy. And if this is a thing you've never done before, you can search for paper flowers, tissue paper pom-poms, tissue paper carnations. They will come up and you'll find they're really easy. It's a fan fold, a twist tie, and some trimming, and you're pretty much done. So it's a really easy craft to do. I used to make these when I was a little kid out of Kleenex. Last week on Fandom and Stitches, we started our second annual Choose Your Own UFO quilt along. And as part of this quilt along, I was talking about getting organized, and I did revisit last year's first post because that's really what you have to do when you start a quilt along like this, is you have to get organized first, figure out what you're going to work on. So during the process of figuring out my post for last week for Fandom and Stitches, I was looking at my own project board, which I put a picture of on Fandom and Stitches, and I realized that I had another UFO that I had lost track of. So I'm going to pull my project board out for us to talk about. So this is my project board. I keep it on a hanger. I hang it on a hook on the wall. It's super low tech, just a piece of poster board with post-it notes on it. Other than the purple, the colors don't mean anything. The purple are the headers and everything else is just whatever post-it note I had on hand at the time. I only have one pending project currently, which is the Star Trek row along that Vanda and I are doing next year. My in progress are Sweet Reflections, which are that's the memory quilt that I'm working on that has the little 2.5-inch squares, which I haven't touched in a while, but I'm planning on working on that in the next month or so. Talk to Me Tuesday swap, obviously. I have Linus Orphan blocks are ongoing. That's tops to be pieced. What happened is to be quilted, I was packing up my Princess Bride quilt, which I sent off to Jennifer Rolls, our Playful Piecing, and I realized that I had another UFO that was not on this board. So Project of Doom signature quilt, which is on my design wall. It's actually quite a good size. I was thinking about putting a border on it, but now I'm kind of undecided. I might just quilt it like this, but I'm just going to leave it up there so that I can think about it before I make a decision. Embroidered Flowers quilt, which is ready to be quilted, and I have someone to give it to if I just get it quilted. My As You Wish quilt, which is my Princess Bride quilt I sent to Jennifer. And then this little yellow guy right here. He wasn't on the board. He should have been on the board. That's my There and Back Again quilt. That's my Hobbit quilt from 2011 and 2012. We did a quilt along that was the end of 2011 and the beginning of 2012. It was after the first Project of Doom quilt along in 2011. I have had this done for so long. It is basted. It is pin basted. And I've had a quilt frame since 2016. So that's how long I've been ready to quilt this. And I know why it's not done, because for a long time I thought about changing the back and putting my signature blocks from the other designers on the back, because we did exchange blocks, but I'm missing one, so I never did it. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to quilt it as it is and leave those other signature blocks in a box. I have a whole box of signature blocks from various events that we did where I only got 6, so you can't really make a quilt out of that. So eventually I will put all of those in a quilt. So this is my There and Back Again quilt. Should have been quilted years ago, just never really did it. So back to my project board and being organized. So I currently have nothing on my frame, and part of the reason I have nothing on my frame is this is the cardboard tube that came out of my roll of batting that I bought in 2016. I bought a roll of Hobbs 80/20 batting, and it's all gone now. I sent the very end of it to Jennifer Rolls, so I need more batting. In the finished column, the only thing in Quilted for Others, it was an Easter quilt that I quilted for my friend Dominique, who lives here in Austin, that she gifted to another friend of ours, Linda. So I quilted it and bound it, and so I put hers up here because I didn't make the top, I just quilted it and finished it for her. And then my finishes, which I don't put all of my finishes on here. I put all my quilt finishes on here, and I put other projects that seem significant that are like fairly big projects that I needed to do. So I have our group project we made for Terry. I have 6 Linus quilts. The 2018 wedding quilt I made for my brother-in-law and his wife. Rainbow Cascade is on here. That's probably the biggest one on here. This is the Metroid quilt. I made cushions for my sofa, and I actually still have one more to go, but at the time I hadn't planned to make any more, so it's still in the finished column here. Sewing room redo. No sewing involved there. You guys remember when I just rearranged my entire room. That's what this guy is. And then this was, I reupholstered my son's chair that's in his room at home so that, because it was all shredded and it just needed to be reupholstered. So I just reupholstered it when he was like a week before he came home for spring break or something. And then this is the cosplay project for my son. So we are done with that. So that's in the finished row now. So little projects, like I made a little manicure kit for my husband at one point, and I've done a whole bunch of like just little things like pot holders and stuff like that. I don't think I need to have a project board for all of those little things, but I do like to kind of track the big projects that I've done because it makes me feel like super accomplished. I mean, it is July and I've already finished all of those things on my finish list. So if you are playing along with the Fandom and Stitches UFO, then get yourself organized if you haven't already. And then the next step is just to pick something and start working on it. I've done a few things already. Like I said, I mailed my Princess Bride quilt to Jennifer. It needs to be quilted. I want it to be really special. This one I'm going to think about. So that is also part of step 1. And then just unearthing my Tababon there and back again. That was definitely part of step 1 as well. So with any luck, these 3 stragglers will be done by September. We're going to have a new post on the UFO quilt along tomorrow on Fandom and Stitches. Tomorrow I will put a new prompt on Facebook. Also, I will be giving away the first charm pack tomorrow from the first thread of conversation about project boards. So if you haven't talked about how you get organized, I would love to see that. So be sure and share how you get organized in that thread. Please find that thread. You can look for in the Facebook group the hashtag UFOQAL 2018 and that post will come up. You can find it that way. You can also look for admin posts because I tag all of my posts in my groups that I run admin posts so that you can find them easily if you want. There's a search feature in every group on Facebook and so you can always find what you're looking for. So I guess I'll wrap it up. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. You guys have a wonderful week. You have a crafty week and don't forget to send your Talk to Me Tuesday swap blocks. I mailed mine last week and I will see you next week. Bye.